right now.
That's okay. Thank you so much for interviewing with me.
Oh my goodness, of course. This is so fun. I'm obsessed with Audrey Hepburn anyway, so
I
it was
love her.
that name definitely caught my attention.
Yeah. First, can I ask you, so what school do you go to, and then what's your major and your year?
Yeah, I'm a student at Belmont University,
Okay.
and I'm studying music business with an
Ooh.
emphasis on business. And my year, it's complicated, but I'm technically a senior graduating in August.
Okay, awesome. So,
Yeah.
into the first question, what would you say classic style means to you?
Classic style to me is something that's classy, and by classy, what I mean is that it portrays beauty and it portrays an individual's worth while not being overexposed, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
say. Um, my mom always says that every time I leave the house, it should be in something that I'm okay with somebody taking a picture of me in, whether that's put on the front page of a magazine or just on my Facebook.
Yeah.
It should always be it should always be camera ready. So for me, classic style is going out in confidence and things that in a style that portrays who you are while also being unoffensive.
Yeah, yeah. What brands are your favorite brands that you find classic styles particularly at?
Definitely Ralph Lauren. That's one of my favorite brands ever. Unfortunately, on a college budget, that's really hard to
Yeah.
afford. Uh, Definitely the first that comes to mind. But as far as everyday things that I'm able to afford, it's really all about having an eye for it. I think that you
Mhm.
can find classic items pretty much anywhere that you look if you know what you're looking for.
Mhm.
Um, but as far as brands, the first one that comes to mind for me is Ralph Lauren.
Cool. Ooh, someone's honking.
Somebody's unhappy.
What old fashioned style icons are an inspiration to you and why?
Definitely Audrey Hepburn. Um, I find her style so classic because she is such a natural beauty. What is so amazing about her is that she was always understated. If you look at many pictures of her, she's never doing anything that you would classify as gaudy or over the top. She was always um, very understated and very simple, and I found that absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
Of course, everybody loves Jackie O. Uh, and actually, a modern day style icon, I think, is actually Melania Trump.
Ooh, yeah.
Prob- Probably because of her position. She'll forever be a first lady, but she has such incredible style that I think she's a modern day icon.
Mhm. Are accessories important to you when you're trying to portray a classic style?
For sure. So in my typical everyday, I always am just notorious for just throwing on a pair of pearl earrings. But if I'm trying to dress like in a classic way, say I'm going to um, a super fancy dinner, like a black tie event,
Mhm.
um, I usually plan my evening gowns and my outfits around the jewelry that would accessorize it. So
Mhm.
um, as far as every day goes, no, not so much. But as far as true, I'm getting really dolled up. Yeah,
Yeah.
accessories are incredibly important to me.
What are your favorite colors that you tend to incorporate in your outfits?
I always lean to black, and my mom gives me such a hard time about that because the majority of my closet is black. If I am going for a color that is actually a color, I'll usually go for red just because I think it complements my skin tone and hair color.
Oh, that's good. So Audrey Hepburn is still known as a fashion icon. Would you say that you still see that people might be inspired by her in their everyday looks and when they're going to fancy events? Like anyone still talk about her or talk about her in the sense of being a style icon?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that especially being in college, I've been in so many um, dorm rooms where you see the girls having pictures of Audrey Hepburn all over their walls, and I know that I have a picture of Audrey Hepburn hanging in my college dorm, and um, she wouldn't be there if people didn't look up to her or admire her
Mm-hmm.
and her style. So I think regardless of the decade, people find inspiration from her because even the style that she had back in the 50s and the 60s, it was timeless. It was something that,
Mm-hmm.
despite whatever decade it may be in, it's still just simple style. That's something that my dad used to tell me when I was young, that um, fads come in and out, but true style is timeless.
Yeah. As you were saying a little bit earlier, how kind of styles back then you could be more covered up but also really still look beautiful. How do you try to attain being covered up but also leaving more to the imagination than the eye?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one thing, I was raised in a family, my mom was a model, my dad was a model, so they understood kind of what it's like to live in a culture where people think that to be beautiful, you have to be in less clothing. I think you see that so much in the modeling industry today, is that there's not a lot of clothing going on.
Yeah.
That is what it is, and there's a time and there's a place for that. But the way that I try and exude beauty, I guess you could say, while remaining covered, is all in the confidence and the attitude that you wear it with. And I think that it comes with styling your makeup and styling your hair, and it's always about how you wear an outfit, because I have seen women look incredibly beautiful in gowns that have sleeves all the way down to their wrists and their shoulders covered and their backs covered, and not an ounce of skin showing, but there's something undeniably sexy about it, and it's definitely the woman inside and the way she carries herself.
As you've been involved in the Miss America organization, have there been any things that they have taught you in the sense of being more classic and more classy and vintage and sophisticated that you would like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I competed, I only competed at the teen program. So the teen program is for 13 to 17-year-olds. And so when I was the teen, I have always had a little bit of an edgier side in me. So I was taking all of the dresses that were all these leather dresses and these ripped jeans and wanting to portray that side of me. But that's not really what they look for in a teen. And so they were putting me in all of these different dresses where I felt more like a cupcake than myself, I guess.
Yeah.
So during my year, we really kind of worked together, and we found, I will never forget, I have 2 dresses from my year as Miss America Teen, and one is this super cool romper with some tulle skirt that they really compromised with me. Like not compromised. And I was wearing a ball gown, but at the same time, I was in this crazy black tulle and like black shorts and romper. And I also had another dress, and it was a leather dress, and it was one of my favorites. Even I still wear it today. And they definitely taught me how to balance that edgier side of me while also keeping it classy and not necessarily ripped jeans at a pageant.
Yeah. As you're trying to go deeper into the music business and just the business world, what have you found is important in having that kind of a classy look, but in a business casual kind of sense?
Oh yeah, of course. I actually adore the music industry because it's so casual. I remember when I first started at my internship in New York City, I was asking my supervisor, I said, so what exactly am I expected to wear when I come to work, like with the attire? And he was like, well, honestly, whatever you want, because my boss wears shorts and t-shirts to work. So that was so new to me, because that's just the environment of the music industry. It's so laid back. But personally, living in New York City, I didn't want to be that casual.
Yeah.
So I took the dressy casual, and I mean, it all depends on the day. There are days when I'll go in and black skinny jeans and a nice blouse, and some days I'll go in a dress. And it really is an industry different than the typical one where I'm not expected to wear a pantsuit. I think it'd be different, and I'd have a different answer for my business style if I were in another industry. But it's really fun. I get the chance to express myself a little bit more than I would if I were in a pantsuit, I think.
Yeah. Why do you think it's important for women to have their own sense of style that represents who they are?
Oh, I think that it portrays to the world a little bit of how you view yourself. I think that people can get to know you as often as they want, but it's hard for people to, or people can perceive what they wish of you without really getting to know you. But the things that you wear is a way that you can portray who you are without having to even say a word. Um, uh, I think that's really what it is. It's just your own version of telling the world how you view yourself.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and meet Audrey Hepburn, what is one thing that you would ask her, or a piece of advice that you would want to get from her?
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's such a hard question because there are about 5 million things I would ask her.
You can ask her more than one, too.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if you know a lot about her history, too.
Yes.
She lived during the war.
Mm-hmm.
And after many, many years later, she went back and she was a huge advocate for children during wars. And she spoke 5 languages, and she was just an incredible woman overall. And she was so inspirational every single day. I'd want to be more and more like her. But I think the question that I'd want to ask her is how, over time, she was able to remain so within herself and unaffected by her success in the world around her, while being such an icon. I think it's amazing to me how somebody can be so within themselves yet so in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's one thing I would love to know about her and gain that insight.
So that is my last question, but I did forget to ask if I could record this. Was that okay? If not, I will delete the video.
Of course, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
I want to think of some super inspirational thing to say.
You're okay. You have time.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I would want to say is that living in a society that tells you that what you wear and how you portray yourself defines who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to completely ignore that, and that's something that I struggle with every day, especially within the music industry, not just on the business side, but also being an artist and pursuing a career, is that people really act as though your worth comes from what you put on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just encourage everybody that your fashion is just a part of who you are, but it doesn't define who you are. Yeah. And really focus on the inside.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Leah, for taking the time to interview.
Of course. I was so happy to do it.
Yeah. Well, have a good day.
Thank you so much. You too. I hope you get an A.
Thank you. I hope so too. Bye.
Bye.